Hello, happy homesteaders. Cassie and I are out here on a overcast and cloudy but hot May day. It's around the 20th of May. And we are going to do a quick garden tour. It has been raining, something that we need. And there are weeds everywhere. So there's my volunteer tomato. I've already pulled a couple. But I hopefully will have them all out of this bed, but I decided to keep some volunteers because you know what, you can never have enough food, right? And you never know. So this, guys, remember how beautiful this side garden was the first year? As you can see now, a lot of my plants have died. The crabgrass has taken over. The only thing that has lasted is this one dianthus here and my sad looking rosemary. And the rest, I think I told you guys, what's going to be happening is I'm going to be laying down black plastic, and all of this is going to be river rocks. I can't deal with the sheer amount of weeds. And do you guys know how expensive it is to keep buying mulch? Now, we have pine trees in order to, get pine straw, but it's just not even enough to cover all it's just would be constant. So we don't want to do that. So this is unruly as it is. I've kind of given up on life. I'm going to be laying down plastic, and I'll keep you guys posted on all the outdoor landscaping that we're going to be doing. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm not putting anything in this bed because the whole thing's going to be revamped. Over here, rosemary bush, that thing needs to be deadheaded, I know. And just look at the weeds in our rock bed over here. Now, there is no black plastic under here. When we bought the place, it was just rocks laid on top of dirt, and the weeds are constant. And we don't want to be spraying weed killer. At least some of them have like cancer-causing agents in there, and we're trying to stay away from that as much as possible. So with the rain and just the heat, just all of these weeds and things are kind of getting away from us. And, we're working people, so we don't have time to be just constantly outside. So work harder, not smarter. The lilies are coming up beautifully. They are starting to spread. It would not surprise me if they took over this whole bed, which is also full of weeds and an absolute nightmare. Rocks, just rocks. Okay, so right now it's kind of the plants that were brought in from winter, they're outside getting acclimated before they stay outside, and just weeds. I have weed gardens, people. So let's go into the actual garden. Check out the grapes. They are now starting to plump up. It's weird, some of them missing, and I don't think that it's birds. Some of them have just fallen off just from wind, and I think some of them experienced some drop because of the heat. But I've been spraying because there have been black aphids on the tips, sometimes on the grapes, and then the ants have been coming in and going after the aphids because of what the honeydew or whatever they call it. So look here, can you see that? I'm trying to focus. Okay, there's a bunch of ants and aphids right there on those leaves. Hold on, it's gonna focus. Okay, maybe not. Anyway, they're just all over the place. And yeah, see that? See all those aphids? Ugh, it's disgusting. Anyway, so I did a nice little trim. This thing was growing out of control. Another thing you need to consider if you're going to get a grape, I'm training it onto the fence on this side, and then I'm bringing it down over here, so hopefully it'll spread, and then it'll grow on this side of the fence. Oops, sorry. Okay, let's get a control of my camera here. So, this bed's still doing fine. Still fighting weeds. I've been pulling them. That lavender that I transplanted is starting to look pretty good. Now, here's what's annoying. I had sprinkled bee balm seeds all in this bed, and I think I last showed you that I had at least 3 that were out here. Well, they are now gone. We had pounding rain, and I don't know if it was leaf cutters or what, cutworms, but those seedlings that I had are gone. And yeah, so that was a complete waste. So I just now have this whole area here that was sprinkled with seeds, and there's nothing there. So I may try to order some more to see what happens, but I don't know if the ants ran off with the seeds or they just didn't germinate all that well. But bee balm was a complete fail, and I was really looking forward to having some out here. I found some on Amazon, but it looks like they could be going, you know, they're kind of out of stock in a lot of the nurseries because people get ahead of things just like I did. But yeah, 3 whole plants germinated and now they're gone. So, boo. Okra's doing well. I did have some little gem lettuce planted in here, but we had 80-degree temperatures and they just fried. So I'm gonna plant lettuce probably again in the fall. But okra's doing well. It's covered because I believe there's some grasshoppers that was getting to them. And here we have red curry squash. I'm keeping them covered for a while. I think they're getting big enough where I'm gonna uncover them, but you know, protect them from rabbits and whatever else that can get to them. I've been spraying BT so that I don't have to deal with squash vine borers, but I haven't really been seeing any of the bugs or butterflies out here, so maybe we're good for a while. Let's see, some phlox over here, some jade green beans right here. And I don't know what kind of tomato this is. I honestly didn't mark it. I had so many tomatoes. It's just random tomato. This is another one of the cherry tomatoes that I could never get rid of. And actually the asparagus has been doing pretty good. But the only thing I don't like, I think I might plant some more right over here where you see all this kind of cardboardy mess here. Let me back up so you can see. I think I'm going to extend the asparagus out to here because we just got a huge flux of it, and then it just tapers off, and there's just like 1 or 2 asparagus every now and then, and I mean that doesn't really help for dinner. So we definitely are going to need some more asparagus, and then sometimes by the time I see it or get to it, it's already too long. But other than that, the ferns are flourishing. I know each year will get better and better. I see a couple under there, but I'm like, why even bother picking them if I'm only gonna get like 3 asparagus, you know? So anyhow, yeah, interesting, but I think I'm gonna buy some more jumbo. Buy some 4 years, and then that way I only have to wait a year and I can get some more asparagus. So let's go up here. Oh, I bypassed. So here are the potatoes. These are some white potatoes in here. I'm going to be hilling them up pretty soon. They are really exploding. So, like I said, a lot of rain. So those are going to be hilled up. I've got my sweet potatoes in this grow bin here. These are supposed to be, what, Murasaki sweet potatoes? So I haven't grown any in these grow bags, and people seem to love to grow potatoes in these, so I'm going to see what happens. All of my kale along this whole row doing well. This Luciano kale, I love it, guys. It is so good. Oh, it is amazing. It is so good. That's why I don't mind growing it. First of all, it's beautiful. Like cute little palm trees. It's tender, it's delicious, and it looks great in the garden. We eat a lot of greens, so yeah, I love this better than any kind of collards or mustard, just because they're anyway, I can't tell you enough how much we love this type of kale. Let's see, our dahlias are coming up. They're starting to do well. I got one that's slow growing, but it'll catch up. Well, these two that are slow growing, but I'm sure they'll catch up. That transplanted rosemary, I'll probably prune it a little bit, but I wanted to kind of give it a chance to get acclimated before I started hacking on it. And here is the strawberry bush, as you can, okay. A lot of strawberry plants. It looks like a bush, doesn't it? The way it's growing. We've picked a ton of early variety, and now we just have the ones that are just going to kind of produce throughout the season. So they're intermingled in here, which is good because not saying we're tired of eating strawberries. You can't get tired of that, but sometimes just picking them constantly, and then there's ants and all kinds of stuff who want them too, but they're covered to keep, of course, birds and any kind of vermin out. But I am really happy with the production of these this year. And behind me are the blueberries. So look at all of these berries, guys. I cannot wait to harvest these. So we're going to go from tons of strawberries to tons of blueberries. Excited about that. Right here we have our shallots. And they look like they're bulbing up really well. And our garlic. Now, I know this garlic looks worse for wear. It's close to harvest, but I can't do it while it's wet, or I'll make, it'll make all the bulbs more susceptible to like mold and diseases. So I've pretty much clipped the, oh my gosh, the garlic scapes off. They're in the refrigerator waiting to get cooked into something. And hopefully, if the next couple of dry spells that we have, at least 2 or 3 days where this soil can dry out, I'm going to go ahead and harvest these. And I've done a full video. This is my store-bought garlic, and I'm doing a video now, and it's going to be from store to harvest. So I get really good results from that, so stay tuned for that. And look, I've got some volunteer sweet potatoes from last year, and I'm gonna leave them in there because looks like, what is that, a weed, or is that sweet potato? I can't tell. That might be a sweet potato. Yeah, I'm gonna leave them in there, and you know what, I am all for volunteers. So excited. Onions are doing well. Spring onions have jumped up. The rest of them, of course, are slow growing. We'll be lucky if we see any. These have been sad in this bed too, but they've been overwintered and they've been in here for a while. So maybe by winter or next year we'll have some of these onions. My purple lady bok choy. It's hard to see, I know, up against this dirt, but they are really dark purple, almost black. Got those from Baker Creek Seeds, so I can't wait to see how they come up and how they taste. But I love beautiful plants. I love them to be tasty as well as beautiful. So let's see here. All right, so here are my sugar snaps. And as you can see, I've got a lot of these. Might have to spray them. They're looking like they're getting some kind of wilt or spot on them. But I've already started harvesting these. It's been about a week or so. And in the last 2 weeks, we've had a lot of harvest. And you see they grow pretty tall. The ones I grew before grew about as tall as this fence over here. What is that, about 4 feet high, I think? So these are definitely taller than that. And had to tie them together because they just went just wild. But yeah, these have been a really good producer so far. And the pods are sweet and they're tender. So I'll probably grow them again, once again from Baker Creek. And next to it is our cucumbers. They're now starting to take off. They were growing a bit slower. I worried about them for a minute. I did have to do 2 plantings, but I staggered them, and it looks like some of the later plantings have caught up with the earlier plantings. So that's pretty interesting. But we love cucumbers, so I'm excited. Can't wait to get some of those. Parsnips are growing. My onions are bulbing still. Got a lot of top on these. They went to seed because of the extreme. They started flowering due to the extreme heat. So usually when they say they flower, they're not going to keep well. Luckily, we do a lot with onions. So, I mean, I don't care if I have to chop them up and freeze them or do whatever I need to. They'll get used, and so hopefully we won't have too much waste. But yeah, if they go to flower, supposedly they don't last all that long. If you have found a way where your onions have gone to flower and you've cut the stalks and you were able to still store them, let me know in the comments, please. I don't have a lot of experience growing onions. The ones that were successful were kind of the Italian sweet onions that I grew. But sweet onions don't seem to store all that well either, so I have to put them in the refrigerator. Cassie, stop eating grass, please. Please? Okay. Her stomach is not upset. She just will eat things. If it takes her interest, she just will eat plants, and I have to keep her from doing that in the house as well. So I know eating grass is usually a sign that a dog's stomach hurts, but her stomach doesn't hurt. She's just a walking trash can. Isn't that right, ma'am? Mm-hmm. All right, so back to the onion bed. And I've got my eggplants growing here, my Antigua eggplant, and in the middle of those are the white eggplant here along this row. They're still kind of small. So since I could not get my little gems to grow over there by the okra, I've decided instead that I'm probably going to put hot peppers along here. And it's supposedly the okra is supposed to shield the hot peppers from the heat. I may have to rethink that though, because our sun is south facing, and my garden is south facing, and it is all the heat. It gets all of the heat. So okay, what's next? Dragon tongue green beans. These are a bush variety. They are absolutely beautiful. The pods are purple and white. And I heard when you cook them, though, they turn green. But you know what? Who cares? Some beautiful beans that are purple and white. I'm looking forward to that. So they produce shelled bean. The pods are beautiful, as well as the shelled beans. So it's my first time growing them. So that and jade are going to be my green beans for the year. My white scallop squash is now, I've got 4 in here, and they're now starting to bloom. You guys know I have a problem with squash. I plant too many. But why not, right? Because you could get vine borers, they could get disease. It could be so hot that they may not produce. So my thing is, if you have the space, just plant as many as you can. It's nothing just to throw a couple of extra seeds in. And most seeds, if you've planted squash, you know most squash seeds for some reason have no problems germinating. These things can be invasive. So What I've decided to do, since I've got 4 in here, I'm probably going to just make sure that I keep them pruned, plenty of airflow, and making sure that I'm spraying them with BT so that I don't get a bunch of worms and stink bugs. So I still have cabbage, guys. Oops, and it looks like I need to harvest some of them. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this one's ready to go. It's hard as a rock, you guys. This one's heading up, this big, beautiful one. I'm excited about that, but it's actually still small. I'm pretty sure this one's ready to go. I'm gonna pick this one first. But these are the late Dutch head cabbage. And intermingled in there, I just scattered these seeds, are early red cabbage. Hold on here, what am I looking at? Okay, I thought I had something chewing on. Okay, so I've got some early red cabbage just kind of thrown in there. I wanted to get a head start on those. So I figure as the late Dutch are coming out, the earlies are going to start to grow and produce. Got some onions thrown in with them too. And then on the opposite side of that bed, I've got green onions growing, some spring onions, and rutabaga. And the rutabaga, although small, you know, they have a long growing season. They get massive. So, yay, they are starting to do very well. Just got to protect them from slugs and worms. Let's see. All right, so here is our broccoli bed. And as you can see, it's becoming time where I'm going to have to take the top off of here. As a matter of fact, while I have you hostage, let me take these off. Because the onions have already reached what looks like mass capacity. They are really stretching and reaching. Okay. All right, there we go. So, and it also looks like the broccoli is starting to reach pretty higher. I could just lift this up and make it, you know, obviously take it higher. I need to weed in here. But I have a couple of carrots left over, and that's just because I had some monarch butterflies in here. The cauliflower in here, they're being nicely shaded right now. Cauliflower is tricky. It kind of prefers cooler weather. And in Georgia, it doesn't really get all it's not very cool here at all. So I may just throw a sunscreen over this, and just to keep them, you know, from burning. But these are the sweet Italian onions that I was talking to you about. As you can see, they're doing really well. I'm still using some that I planted last year. So they're doing really good. And yeah, hopefully this year I'll have some success with broccoli. I just did not do good at all last year. It was just just failure. It was just a failure. Between them freezing or rotting, I just didn't get anything good. So hopefully this year will be different. So let's see. All right, on over here to our tomatoes. So they are starting to fan out. They're starting to get height. Their leaves are healthy. I've pruned them already around the base. Now, unfortunately, I caught this today. I've got leaf spot already, so I was able to spray those leaves at the bottom with some fungicide. But that kind of thing happens. You just want to get on it as fast as you can. That's why I try to mulch. But I mean, even if you water at the base, of the plants, they're still, you know, gonna get some splash. I mean, it rains, for goodness sakes. You know, you can't protect them from the rain. So luckily, there's a little a black spot on here, this plant. But for the most part, they're looking really healthy and well. So hopefully I can keep it that way. There's some, what is it called? Ford hook? Whatever that big chard is, the giant chard, that's what's growing here. And it looks like something's already been munching. Those holes look like slugs. So when it rains, people, you have to remember, you probably have to put your slug bait out again, or your beer traps, especially if you're going through a ton of rain, because it is guaranteed that you are going to have slugs. So this bed, I'm going to show you guys a tunnel view here. Hold on, let's go down. This is the lettuce bed, okay? So everything that I do in here is related to salad. So I've got my red sales. There's a couple of like random parsnips in here. There's some little, what are those? I can't even remember what those are called. I think they're called Yugoslavian red. Those little ones over there. So let me take this cover off because I really want to show you. Ugh, stink bugs already. Disgusting. So my radishes have taken off. So I'm going to be harvesting these puppies pretty soon. I love radishes, guys. I just eat them all. Just eat them all season long. What kind of bug is that? I don't know, but you're going to get sprayed. So radishes are doing good. There's some parsnip. I have not been successful growing parsnips. So we're going to see what happens. I've thrown some here and there, kind of around the garden, to see what happens. And yeah, the turnips, they're now starting to like really come into their own. I haven't seen any bulbs yet, but that's okay. I have to look out for aphids, guys, because this is definitely the time when. So the turnips are now just starting to get some leafy heads on them. And then the arugula here is actually ready to start being harvested. So guys, that is it. That is my May garden tour. Today seemed like a good day to do it because it's cool, but it's now starting to heat up. I can just feel it. All this black plastic is going to be river rocks because, again, it is way too much to deal with. And I mean, we don't have the kind of setup where we can just put down mulch. I love that Charles Dowding, who I follow for No Dig, he's got wood chippers and he does like a fine chips of wood on his walkways. Well, I've got like Home Depot and places where I can go buy the wood chips, and then you end up getting, because of these big pieces, you end up with wood lice, and I don't like that either. And you know, it's just the grass takes over, as you can see over here, so I can only lay down so much cardboard. It's exhausting, and I know it's my own fault because I obviously have a problem, and my problem is I love gardening. I don't know if that's a problem, but it's definitely something that takes a lot of work. And if you don't have anyone to help you, if you're on your own, just pulling weeds constantly and trying to keep up with it during the season and grow food, it's just not, it's not great. So if you don't have help, and some people who have market gardens and that sort of thing, they actually have the help for the upkeep. So since we are just simple working folk who love to garden, I'm putting rocks down, a one-time deal on top of some plastic. And I mean, it preserves the soil underneath. I know plastic's not all that great, but you know, it's better than digging in and harming all those microbes and insects and whatever else that are underneath there. So rocks are going to grow on top of there, And anyway, I will keep you posted on that update. So one more thing I want to show you, the peach tree. So remember, they look like Charlie Brown trees because I clipped the absolute hell out of them. They have bounced back in sure form. See my second one over there? It actually looks even better. It was so diseased last year, but take a look. We've got peaches. Lots and lots of peaches. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do with these guys. I'm thinking maybe kale and clay. I know it's pricey, but trying to cover them in little baggies, that seems to me like a market garden thing. And I mean, guys, I honestly, I don't have time. I don't want all of my fruit to be diseased or eaten by bugs, but at the same time, I do want to enjoy life, and I want to enjoy gardening without it being complete and utter drudgery. So if I did this full time, maybe, but yeah, if you have any ideas, how do you protect your peach trees, or do you not care? Do you spray you spray your peaches with like clay, or do you put whole nets over your trees? Leave a comment, let me know. I love taking advice because, again, guys, I'm throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. I'm using YouTube and I'm using Google to find out what to do with some of this, because even though my grandparents were gardeners and I learned a lot from them, I was still so young when they passed. So some of this is just either I already know. They didn't have fruit trees. So fruit trees are something completely different. Veggies I can kind of handle through trial and error, but yeah, growing fruit is a totally different ball game. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've been enjoying your spring. Like I said, it's go time. There's a lot to be done. Stay tuned for my videos, like I said, on growing like the ultimate tomatoes, large tomatoes, and how to harvest and grow your own store-bought garlic. So I hope you're doing well, and be happy, be blessed, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.